Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going through my dry skin routine. The weather outside has hit the negatives and my skin has been feeling it. I don't know why, but this season has been especially bad for my skin and I have kind of been forced into just trying to figure out a perfect routine to work around my dry, flaky winter skin. And I figured it out, guys. I came up with like literally the most perfect routine. Not only am I talking about makeup products, but a large portion of this video is dedicated to skincare as well. I really hope that this video is gonna be helpful for you guys. I would love to hear your tips and your favorite products in the comments down below. I think it'd be really great for other people also who are scrolling through the comments to see what other people are loving. Of course, hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. It's a very, very simple action, but it's a really great way to let me know that you guys enjoyed today's video and want to see more videos like it. And of course, I mean, if you want to see more videos like this, you might as well just hit the subscribe button. Just saying. All right, without further ado, let's get into all the tips. Because my turtleneck is the same color as my wall, if you just like squint your eyes a little bit, it just looks like I'm a floating head. It's a really fun game to play. I'm very hyped up right now, if you couldn't tell. Drinking an energy drink, which is the only thing that's keeping me going, running on fumes, or Alani New Energy and Tropsicle. There goes my voice. So I just want to start off by saying that before you even go in with any of these skincare products or any of the makeup products that I'm about to talk about, it's very, very important to exfoliate and prep your skin. Unfortunately, if you have any type of texture on your skin, it's very, very difficult to apply makeup on top of that and have it hide it. It will more likely accentuate it. Now my skin has been so dry as of late. When I got my makeup done like a week or two ago, the makeup artist touched my skin and literally like stepped back and was like, whoa, your skin. And I'm like, please don't rub it in. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, is my skin like that dry? And then I touched it myself. I was like, oh, it feels like sandpaper. Because I was so traumatized from that experience, I went straight away to see the girl who does my facials because I really trust her opinion. She's always recommended really great products to me and I wanted to just hear from her what she thought I should use to help my skin. And she recommended that I use these two products. And yes, don't yell at me. They are pricey. I don't love recommending really pricey products for you guys, but for me, skincare is one area of my like routine where I am really okay splurging because I feel like if you have a good skincare routine locked down, which kind of brings your skin under control, it really helps all other areas of like your makeup and your routine. So the first thing that I put on my skin in this routine is the serum from SkinCeuticals. It is a retexturizing activator. So I was told that this is really good for resurfacing, for retexturizing the skin, and it also has hyaluronic acid in it, and it's supposed to really like plump up the skin. So my facialist told me that if I apply this right before applying my makeup, it's going to make my skin really, really plump and hydrated. My T-zone area is way, way less like dry and sandpapery, and I feel like my skin just looks so much more hydrated even with no skincare on it. So I feel like this is kind of the magic weapon in my skincare routine. So I'm putting just a few drops on the palm of my hands. My hands are obviously clean, and I'm just pressing this into the skin. So after I apply my serum, then I go in with my moisturizer. So this is the SkinCeuticals Daily Moisture Lightweight Pore Minimizing Moisturizer for normal or oily skin. Now this was the moment where I really questioned everything. I was like, why are you giving me this moisturizer? Because this says it's for oily skin. I have the driest skin. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to sabotage me? She said that my skin isn't actually technically dry. It's just incredibly dehydrated, but my oil glands still produce like a good amount of oil. I feel like I've been living a lie is what I'm trying to say. I always thought my skin was dry, but apparently it's not. It's just more normal, but very, very, very dehydrated. So she recommended this particular moisturizer because she said that when you apply it to the skin, it creates like a really nice, almost silky barrier, which it does. It's very like smooth. It almost feels kind of like a smoothing face primer. So this moisturizer underneath makeup is like a dream. So even though this moisturizer gave me a little bit of a complex, I've been really liking it and I would have never thought to pick this up. So thank you, Barbara, for getting my skin back in tip-top shape. After I apply my moisturizer, I go in with my eye cream. This is just my Fresh Rose Hydrating Gel Eye Cream. This is not really, you know, anything to write home about. I just want something that's really simple and hydrating, and I've been really liking this one for years. It's nice and lightweight, but it still moisturizes, and I need to apply an eye cream, especially in the winter, because oh my god, the chalkiness is unreal if I don't. After all of the creams and serums have been applied, then I'm gonna go into my oil. I've learned now that you have to apply oil at the end of your routine, which I never really knew. I always applied my oil before my moisturizer, but apparently this is supposed to be the last thing that you apply. So that's what I've been doing lately, and it's been really nice. This is my Albert Oils Midnight Boost Hydrating Facial Oil, and I've already gone through a full bottle. This is actually my second bottle, and I'm already halfway through it. I love this oil to death. It's 100% natural. It's so hydrating. It gives my skin like such a boost, I feel like, and underneath makeup, it's incredible. Putting on an oil is honestly game-changing, and I highly recommend trying out. So I'm just gonna put like 3 or 4 drops on my fingers, and just like the serum, I'm just gonna press this into my skin. ASMR. Ew, I'm sorry. I'm so hyper right now. I'm so sorry. We are so prepped right now, it's unreal. So now moving on to the lips. I have 2 lip products here, one for my less severe dry days and one for my, oh my god, my lips are so dry I can barely open my mouth days. Lip prep, just as important as skin prep. I mean, it is part of your face, of course, and especially in the winter time, your lips can tend to get a little bit like crusty, which is totally normal. You know, the dry weather just isn't good for anything on the body. So what I like to do is I like to exfoliate my lips pretty much every single day. It's like the only thing that really helps get rid of any crustiness that may be going on in my lips. So this is the cookie dough lip scrub from Lush. It's so delicious, one of my favorite lip scrubs. It's just really nice and grainy, which I like. And you can also eat it afterwards, which is always a plus. So I'm just taking some and just gonna rub my lips with it. So for the lip balm, like I said, I have 2 that I kind of switch between depending on what my lips are doing that day. So for the less severe days, I have my Laneige Lip Sleepy Mask. I have literally 5 of these in my home in all different flavors. They are some of my favorite lip balms. They're just so moisturizing. They also give a really nice juicy look to the lips. I just love these. They really do the trick. But sometimes even that's not enough and I need something a little bit more intense. And when that's the case, I like to go in with my Egyptian Magic. This is kind of like a all-purpose type of product. It's a very simple product. The only thing that's in here is olive oil, beeswax, honey, bee pollen, royal jelly, and propolis. I don't know. Propolis extract. So I normally put this on like my cuticles or on my lips. I also really like this when I get tattoos. I use it to keep my tattoos nice and hydrated in the healing process, and it works wonders. It lasts for a really long time. It's very thick and oily, so you only need a very small amount. So what I'm going to do is just gonna take a little bit, put that on my lips. So that's it for like the skincare and the skin prep. So now it's time to actually move into the foundation. So for my foundations, during this dry time in my skin, or rather dehydrated time in my skin, I have been gravitating towards foundations that are more lightweight, more hydrating, and a little bit glowier. I mean, what else is new? I don't even think I've ever spoken about this on my channel, so it's something new for you guys. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Buildable Blur CC Cream. It's very similar to the IT Cosmetics CC. I feel like it's not quite as glowy, like a little bit less glowy and almost a little bit more full coverage. And I feel like it just gives the most beautiful natural finish to the skin, and my skin has just been reacting really nicely to it. Today I'm using the shade Light. Keep in mind these shades do run a little bit dark. Like this light is more like a light medium, but it actually matches me perfectly right now because I am a little bit more tan. So I'm gonna be using this foundation brush over here. This is from Quo. It's the flat buffer brush, very similar to the Fenty foundation brush, but it's not quite as dense, a little bit fluffier, so I feel like it doesn't give quite as much full coverage. I've been really liking it. So I'm just going to grab a little bit from the back of my hand and start to apply. So what I do first is I kind of dot my foundation all over my face just to evenly distribute. So I don't want to over apply, especially in the winter time. I do not like to apply too much face makeup because the more makeup that I apply, the more likely my face is gonna just look super dry. So I like to apply thin layers at a time, which is definitely what I would recommend. And like I said, especially if you're worried about your skin looking too heavy or cakey, if it's on the drier side, putting very light, thin layers and building it up slowly where you need it is the best way to go. So as you can see, I did not even use the full pump on the back of my hand, and this has such nice coverage that I barely even need any more foundation. I think I'm gonna stop there. I don't need any more foundation. So look at how nice and glowy and hydrated my skin looks. That nice little sheen. Yes. So after applying my foundation, I'm gonna go in with my concealer. My favorite concealer for when I have those really dry skin days is my Josie Maran Vibrancy Argan Oil Full Coverage Concealer Fluid. This is an amazing concealer. It's very hydrating. It never really looks chalky underneath my eyes, and it has some really good coverage to it as well. Similar to the foundation, if you are worried about, cakiness or things looking too dry, you want to apply a small amount of product and kind of just build it up as you need it. So I'm applying a very teeny tiny little amount underneath my eyes. Also apply just a little bit in the center of my face just to kind of highlight a little bit. And I'm going to take a small little concealer brush and start to blend it out. So now let's talk about powder. Raise your hand if you are terrified of powder. Me. Powder can be tricky, especially with dry skin. So my biggest recommendations when it comes to powders, first of all, for your foundation, try and choose a foundation that doesn't necessarily need powder. So one of the reasons why I really like the Thrive Cosmetics Buildable Blur is it doesn't stay tacky or sticky on the skin. A lot of the times glowier foundations can feel really sticky on the skin, and the only way to really get rid of that stickiness is by setting it with powder. So with a foundation like this, I don't really feel like I have to use a powder to set it. It feels like it's set down on my face already, and it's not really gonna go anywhere. So one of my biggest tips is to use a pressed powder and not a loose powder. Loose powder can tend to settle in lines on the face. It could also, look a little bit heavier than like a pressed powder just because you're picking up a lot less product. And second of all, specifically the Hourglass Ambient Lightening Powders are amazing for a drier skin type because they're so finely milled that on the face they're almost like undetectable, and they all have a little bit of a nice like glow to them as well, so it's not going to mattify your skin. I also recommend applying the powder with a very slightly damp sponge. You don't want your sponge to be soaking wet, but a slightly damp sponge really does do the trick in just kind of making your powder mesh and melt into the skin. So I'm just going to take this sponge over here and I'm going to dip into the first and second powder in this palette. This is just from one of the old Hourglass Unlocked palette, but you could find these powders sold individually as well. And now I'm just going to press that up against my under eyes to set my concealer, because no matter what, I almost always like to set my concealer. And I always like to also set my nose, above my lip, and my chin, because those are the areas that rub off the fastest. So zoomed you guys in, you can see my skin doesn't look like overly chalky or overly matte or anything like that. Everything is set down. This is my ultimate favorite way to apply powder. I feel like it just gives such a smooth, airbrushed look to the skin, and it doesn't look like there's any powder there. It's beautiful. So that is actually it for all of the base makeup. Now I have one last tip for you guys, and it involves the setting spray. So this is a product that is so unique. I've never really seen anything quite like it, and I swear it's been like a game changer for my skin. This is the Youth to the People Adaptogen Soothe and Hydrate Activated Mist. This is pretty much a serum in a mist form, and there's hyaluronic acid in here. This product is amazing to kind of add almost like a hydrating, misty layer on top of your makeup. This is totally another star product for me. It's one that I've totally seen such a huge difference with ever since I started using it. It's fairly new in my life. I bought this during the VIB sale, but so happy that I did, because it's become very quickly one of my favorite products to finish off my makeup with. Now you can use this before you apply your makeup. You could use it after you apply your makeup. You could use it throughout the day to kind of refresh your makeup. If your face is feeling really extra dry, this is a wonderful product to kind of keep around. I want to see if they actually have a travel size version of this, because this would be such a great product to throw in your bag if your face starts to feel a little bit, tight during the day. Throwing this on or spritzing it on is like the best remedy. Now, Jaclyn Hill recently posted a video similar to this where she showed her favorite tips for dry skin. Now, one of the tips that really stood out to me in that video is when she took an oil and she actually applied it to her face after she was finished putting on her makeup. This product gives a very similar effect that the oil on top of the makeup gives, because it is technically like a serum, but it's a really quick and easy way to do it. And the mist on this is so fine. You're never going to like over apply or over mist your face. I mean, you definitely can if you literally just over mist your face, but because there aren't like huge water droplets when you mist this onto your face, it doesn't disrupt your makeup at all. I don't know if you guys are seeing through the camera what I'm seeing in person, but my skin, especially after applying this, man, like it looks so plump and natural looking, but still perfected and smooth. Just the combination of all of these products is like one of the best combinations I've ever came up with, if I say so myself. All right, just went ahead and applied blush, bronzer, and highlighter so you guys can see what everything looks like on top of the skin, and everything applied perfectly, no complaints here. I'm actually gonna go ahead and do one more mist of my Youth to the People mist. And that, my friends, finishes off this entire dry skin routine. So guys, that finishes off today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it and found it helpful. I would love, again, if you guys can let me know down below in the comments what you thought of the tips that I shared with you guys today, some of your favorite dry skin products, and some tips that maybe you have that I didn't talk about today. I would love to hear them all down below in the comments. Hit the thumbs up button, and of course subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!